We begin the news at 7 with the latest development in Plateau State, where a political stalemate is brewing following the threats by the People's Democratic Party lawmakers in the state who were recently sacked by the Court of Appeal to resume plenary tomorrow, Tuesday. The 16 sacked Plateau Assembly lawmakers of the PDP say all plans have been concluded for their resumption to the official lawmaking duty, despite the judgments that nullified their election. The lawmakers claimed the Supreme Court judgment that validated the election of Governor Caleb Mutfwang has vindicated them as valid members. The lawmakers said they would be resuming on Tuesday when the House reconvenes. They also confirmed that members of their various constituencies will follow them.
There were two judgments that were delivered on Plateau issue. And the last one, and it is the final one, it is the one that has been delivered by the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court is the highest court in this nation. And based on that pronouncement, I was categorical that the judgment invalidates the judgment of the Court of Appeal. So what are we talking about? We are law-abiding citizens of Nigeria, but we are resuming work tomorrow. I have my certificate of return with me, likewise all the 15 orders. There were two judgments.
Well, for more on the step to be taken by the sacked lawmakers in Plateau State, let's speak with one of the affected members of the PDP, and that's from Gwatsen. He joins us from Jos. Also joining us is Neri Darong, who's a former secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association, Jos branch. Let's begin with you, Mr. Darong. The lawmakers who were sacked in Plateau State say they will resume on Tuesday and that members of their constituencies would go with them. In the eyes of the law, what does this action portend?
Well, when the Court of Appeal and the Election Tribunal in Jos were giving us decisions, the way they were giving these decisions, that was a fear. The decisions were just very, very unjust. And we're just wondering that if the courts start giving these kind of decisions, people may begin to take the laws into their hands. And the Supreme Court just passed a decision saying that whatever the Court of Appeal did, and also by extension the Election Tribunal, was unconstitutional, unlawful. For a point, there's nothing in the Constitution that even mentions anything like structure. I wonder where lawyers cooked that thing called structure, and I also wonder where the Court of Appeal also ate that thing called structure. So it's really sad what is happening right now. The courts caused it, and it's really, really sad.
And what is the legal solution to this challenge now?
Well, based on the law, once the Court of Appeal has passed its judgment, that's the final court based on the Constitution. But again, the Supreme Court, by its judgment, just said that there was nothing that the Court of Appeal or the Election Tribunal based its decision on. In other words, they never had the jurisdiction to do that. And we all know that the law is also certain that once a court passes a decision without jurisdiction, then it's as if that decision was never made. But for the sake of certainty, somebody must have to approach a court to set aside those decisions. And that is a sad aspect of what the Election Tribunal, as well as the Court of Appeal, did to the people of Plateau State. And you can see where we are, confusion everywhere.
Are you aware that any of those 16 lawmakers who've been sacked or their colleagues, whether in the Senate or in the House of Representatives, have approached a court for interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment?
Well, if you look at the authorities from the Supreme Court, even Court of Appeal, once the tribunal or the Court of Appeal has finished its decision, there's no room for interpretation. You can't even approach them to say that they should correct this or correct that. Time has lapsed. So I don't think, to my knowledge, none of them has approached any court or tribunal to interpret its judgment.
All right, then. Neri Darong is a former secretary in Nigerian Bar Association, Jos branch. Thank you very much for talking to us on TVC News at 7.